this tutorial, I'm going to generate a roof plan with roof elevations. Both the roof plan and roof elevations work off of one another. They help me figure out the pitch, where the ridge is, and help me determine what style roof I'm going to do. So the way I'm going to start, I'm switching over to my roof plan layer. Depending on what your roof looks like, you either need to have on your second floor or your first floor, or potentially both if you have varying roof lines. And we'll design all of these on one level to start. You could create a second if you wanted. So the first step is to trace around the first floor or second floor or wherever this roof line is going to be. After I trace this, I'm going to convert these to a dashed or a hidden line, and then I could turn off my first floor. So I had mentioned that you may need your first or second on. My garage is on a lower level. I'm still going to draw this from the roof plan layer or on the roof plan layer. Again, I'm tracing. I have all of my other layers locked and hidden. Makes it a little bit easier for me. So again, I'm going to end up converting these to a dashed line. I will wait until I do my offset. Now I need to figure out what my overhang is going to be. So where do I want an overhang on my house? It can vary. If you want an area where you're going to walk up, maybe it overhangs a little farther. So I'm going to keep mine pretty consistent and just do a foot on the sides and 2 feet in the front and the back. So I'm going to offset 24 inches here, 24 here, 24 here. So that's that overhang there. Now I'm going to set my other offset to 1 foot, and I'll do these sides at 1 foot. It might be nice to consider 2 feet here just because of that door, and 1 foot here. Now I take these lines and I use fillet just to check. I'm going to do F enter, R enter, 0 enter, just to make sure that it is in fact 0. I can fillet this together. I'm going to ignore that these overlap because they sit on a different level. My second floor roof is above my garage roof. And I had mentioned before, these lines are going to turn into a dashed line. Those other ones that are selected shouldn't be affected. Properties, line type, I'll just do this ACAD. Okay, so just saying one or more couldn't be updated because those layers are locked. I'll turn off the first floor just to get rid of it. So the dashed line represents my floor plan. This represents my roof. I'm just going to go with the standard gable roof here, and I'm going to have the gable on the side. I'll go to the midpoint and draw across. This line is my ridge board. This represents the peak of the roof. I'm going to have a ridge board here, and this goes all the way up to this wall. Again, different heights, it's okay, these overlap. And then I'll need a ridge board here, where there will be a valley that's formed where the two roof lines intersect one another. But I don't know what those are yet. I will determine that from drawing out the pitch of my roof. So I go to these unfinished elevations over here, and I could extend these points down. This is where my overhang is. I went a little farther than I needed to. I'm going to bring it right up to this line right here, which represents the joists that we had in place before. So there's that. For the front, I don't know what the height is. I'll determine that from over here. Now I have a line that comes down here. Again, I'm going down to the bottom of this for now. I might have to alter it later. And then there's an overhang here. The back of the house, same thing. I am going to draw all 4 of these out just because I need one to determine what the pitch is and the heights on the other. This one right here goes down a little farther. Keep in mind this is on a lower level. It's on top of my garage. This one goes here. And I do need to show this piece as well. All right, so I've extended all my lines down. That may not have been the fastest way. A ray may have worked, but I chose to go about it this way. Those lines should in fact switch to my roof elevation layer. So I'm going to switch over to that. I'm going to highlight these lines. And switch them over to my roof elevation. Okay, now to figure out slope of the roof, the pitch, the rise, the run, and so on. Looks like here I went one too far. That's okay. I'll just draw over. So to figure out the pitch, it is the rise, slope, I'm sorry, it's the rise over the run. And this is determined over a 12-inch measurement. And rotate. Just so the orientation makes a little more sense. So what I do, draw over 12 inches, and then up whatever I want my pitch to be. I'm going to go with a 4 1/4, so 4.25. I draw down. Create the little triangle. Do the same thing here. 12, 4.25. And the greater the pitch, the steeper the roof. Now I take this and I will fill it, these two together. And there's my roof. I'm now realizing that I did in fact draw it from the wrong point. So I'm just going to take this information here and move it up the next line. Draw down and over. This will represent a fascia later on. So here's the height of my roof. This should in fact line up with my ridge. I could have brought down the ridge too and drawn up and over to it. So that was a 4 1/4 pitch. That determines now what the height is from the front. So now I go over here, measure down. So I'm looking at 6 feet 10 7/8. Rotate back. Right here, I'm going to measure up 6 feet 10 minus 7 divided by 8. And I draw over. So from the front of the roof, I just see this rectangle. And I'm keeping this in place. Again, that is my fascia on the roof. I can now trim these or delete them and just draw new lines depending. So the other side would be the same roof. I could draw the same thing out. I can mirror it, move it over. It really doesn't make much of a difference there. My garage, I'm going to figure it out the same exact way. I'm going to go with the same pitch. So I need to measure here 12 inches. Remember, rise over run, so 12, 4 1/4, so 4.25. Close it off. Go here, 12, 4 1/4. I fill it. F enter. So here's from the side what this triangle looks like. Now I take that measurement. I'm looking at 5, 1 5/8. So 5 feet 1 minus 1/8. draw over. There's my roof from the elevation. I would trace the fascia too. And again, the roof here is going to be the same there. But now I'm stuck on this one point. I need to figure out where this roof line is and where these two tips are going to be. I'm not going to guess. I need to determine this from my elevation view. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to do another 4 1/4. 12, 4.25. If you don't like the size of the pitch, you can change it. If you want it to be less or more, entirely up to you. So now I fill these together. So from this side of the house, I'm going to see this line of roof. I would draw for the fascia. Now I know the height. So my height is 2 feet 10. Come over here. Draw up 2 feet 10 inches. Transfer this over. So that's what it looks like from the side. Now I take this measurement, bring it over. For the moment, I'm going to switch back to my roof plan layer. My ridge here extends to that line. It may have been longer, it may have been shorter. Draw over to it. Transfer this measurement. Back. Delete this. So I deleted a little too much, but now my roof plan is complete. I figured out where the hips and the valleys were. From the front, I was able to determine the height from the pitch over here. So this roof plan that I just made, I can mirror it and copy it into place as it sits right here. I don't need to draw it a second time. The back of the house, same thing. I could take this one and bring it to the back. The only difference is there's a second roof line right here. So that was creating your roof plan and roof elevations. We'll be setting up for roof framing next.